Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be showing you how to paint one of these orcs. These are from Arcadia Quest. I've been painting them up for a friend of mine. Here is a painted one, so at the end this is what this guy's going to look like. And I'll take you through and walk you through painting this. So I'm starting out with Averland Sunset, which is a yellow, and I'm putting this in everywhere that I'm going to have gold as well as the yellow. Putting this underneath the gold really helps the layering of the gold kind of pop. And I found, just because of the way the structure of this armor piece lays, it was easier to paint the yellow first and really get it kind of worked all the way in, and then go back through and do the skin. Alright, so there's all of the yellow, and now we're going to move on to the orc's skin, and for this I'm using Loren Forest. This is actually a layer, a Citadel layer instead of a base, so I'm painting through everything, and then I actually went through and did a second coat. With the base coats, I found they work really well with just doing one coat for the most part. But layers, if you want to actually instead use that as a base coat, I would highly suggest doing at least 2 layers, if not 3, depending on the color and, you know, if you're trying to paint over anything. I found that the 2 layers gave it a really nice coverage. So these minis have been really fun to paint. I've been painting them up for a friend, and since they are the kind of chibi style, they've got a little bit larger faces, which I found made things a little bit easier, especially when it came to doing the eyes and such, which I'll show you later how I did all of that detail. And we're getting around to painting the face. And there you can see that, so this is only 1 layer, so you can kind of see how it's not really super even. And I'm going to go back through again with this, and here is the 2 layers, so you can really kind of tell the difference. Alright, now I'm going to take the Dryad bark, and I'm going to paint all the areas that I want to be the dark brown. So I did like his boots and the fur kind of, not really a shawl, one shoulder deal, and kind of made sure to get every part of the mini painted. There were some spots under his legs that were a little hard to get to, so it might be a little sloppy, but those are areas that, especially when you're playing the game, you're not really going to see, so you don't have to be quite as careful. I tend to be really aware of getting paint on the entire mini, and anything that's going to be really visible, being careful with that. Now, one thing I do like about the Citadel paints is they have a little, the part in the top has a nice little spot that you can get paint off of instead of having to use a palette. And so far, right now, I'm going through with Abaddon black and painting all of the areas I want black, as well as a bunch of the areas that I'm going to have metal. I found basing out the silver metal areas with black really helps add some depth to it. And there are actually some areas that I'm leaving the gray that was the color of the mini that I'm going to go back through and paint with silver, and that provides some contrast. Right now I'm taking this red and going through and painting all the areas that I want to be red. And the red part on his shoulder armor there is actually sunken in, and I purposely painted that after the yellow so that it didn't have to worry about trying to get all of the edges with the yellow and then having to go back through and touch things up with the red. So, because I tend to I like painting all one color across the board and going back and doing as little touch-ups as possible. But every now and then, you know, your brush slips or you just have a spot that you can't really get in there without having some spillage, and you have to go back through and do some touch-ups. Alright, and now I believe I have moved on to, oh, and that was Mephiston red. So now I've moved on to Skrag brown, which is a lighter brown color, and I'm going through and using that to do some highlights on like the fur, and then I'm doing some other little pieces with that, like the handles on his axes there and whatnot. I actually discovered later on, oh, nope, now I'm on to Ironbreaker, which is that silver. And here you might not be able to see it quite as well with moving around so much. Oh, and jumping on. I went a lot faster than I thought. So this is Screaming Skull, and I'm using this to just do the teeth and then the skulls that are around his waist. And going back in with that Averland Sunset Yellow to do the eyes. And this is this is Auric Armour Gold. So I'm going through and hitting all the spots that I actually want that gold rather than the yellow. And having based it out with the yellow really kind of helps make that pop. Going back in with the Skrag Brown to do some touch-ups and some details that I had forgotten about. And then this is Nurgling Green, and I'm using this to do highlights on the skin. You actually might see a couple of times I'm wiping a little bit of it off when I get a little bit too much on. But this just kind of helps the features on the face especially pop out, and I went through and did some of the muscles as well. And this is Nuln Oil. It's a wash, and well, I'm getting ahead of myself. And then this is Athonian Camoshade, which is another wash. Alright, so now to do the eyes, I am using that Abaddon black and a pin. And these minis actually had a little indent for the pupils, so I'm lining it up and I pushed it in a little bit. I usually don't do that for other minis. I'll just kind of dot it on. Alright, and there it is. So this is one of the orcs from Arcadia Quest. I had a fun time painting it up, and hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you want more of these types of videos, let me know in the comments. If you've painted any of the Arcadia Quest minis, I'd love to see any photos or hear what you thought about them. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Alright, bye!